If this is your first time to be part of our morning coaching session, don't bother, don't feel confused. We create programs in the community like called Result Massive Marathon or Massive Results Marathon. And the aim of the program always have different objectives. For this particular session, we were reading 2 books, and 2 books entails that from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. The PPA community members get to read the book and grow in that area. And then from 5 a.m. to about 6, we have a coaching session on that. And we're ending this. The 15 days ended after yesterday, actually. It's just that we're enjoying ourselves too much and adding 3 more days, I think. So it ends tomorrow, even tomorrow morning. And then in the evening, we're going to have what is called evening hangout with Jews. We're going to do a video session. People connect from their various houses, and we just chit chat for about 2-3 hours. We're also available for that time. And of course, after this, I'll be announcing another 10 days massive marathon. That one is not a book, it's more practical. I have outlined 10 activities that everybody would do around their life that needs to take your life 10 steps ahead. And the purpose of those activities are unique, and I'm going to communicate with you. And I'm excited about that particular one. It's going to make people very uncomfortable, and it's going to stretch people beyond in another unique dimension. Okay, so today let's continue with the key lessons that I believe that we should pick out as far as our success journey is concerned, and we should implement. So one of the important lessons that stood out in these last chapters of the book, which I think we have mentioned this a few times, but it was mentioned again. I think we should talk about it briefly. It says that we cannot think one way today. We cannot think one way today and change our thoughts the next day and hope to get the desired result. We cannot think one way today and change our thought the next day and hope to get the desired result. So here is emphasizing on the power of consistent thinking. Like we're talking about, giving a popular example of, you see somebody today, you're thinking that you should focus on building a business. Tomorrow, you're carrying a CV to go look for a job, right? So in that kind of confused thinking, and remember yesterday we were talking about confused thinking and how it can affect the things that you can collect from God's own ecosystem or the things you can collect from the universal system, right? So if it's the same like today you have positive thoughts about yourself, and then tomorrow you're seeing self-doubt set in, low self-esteem set in, negative thinking set in, you're angry about Cameroon government, you're angry about being in Africa, you're just confusing yourself, right? So, but it is one of the most critical elements in successful people is that they have the ability to consistently think in the same direction, and not just the same direction, in a valuable, positive direction. Okay? So that's why Holmes says that we must be very clear in our thoughts, sending out only such thoughts as we wish to see manifest in our condition. I so love this. Hear this again. He says, we must be very clear in our thoughts, sending out only such thoughts as we wish to see manifested in our condition. So clarity of thought is a tool in your success journey. So if you are still confused with anything, one of the most important things is for you to drive clarity. And that's why the best I always try to explain this is, if you are 25 and you are living 25 to 26 and you have not yet discovered what you will chase for the rest of your life, you should be worried. Some of us are lucky that we discovered at the age of 20, at the age of 21. I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life. It increases your chances of manifesting that which you desire. That's what it says. It increases your chances. It increases your chances of you collecting testimonies, collecting special stuff. That I said yesterday, there is a level of success grace that is only released from God to your atmosphere or to your success atmosphere based on your clarity of thought and the things that you desire to handle. So we cannot I'm confused about this. As I said, you need to pay a price for clarity. And that's one thing, that's why people pay for business consultants. Because you don't want to embark on a strategy that you are not convinced that is clear for you. That's why I wrote in bracket, I wrote something that consistent long-term thought is an asset in the journey of success. Consistent long-term clarity thoughts is an asset in the journey of success. Write that down and put in bracket Javnyuy Joybert. Right? You see it anywhere, you catch the person and lock him up. All right, let's continue. Unless we are working with people who think as we do, this one is very important, and that's the power of circles. This is the power of communities. This is the power of having friends that are in the same journey with you. Unless we are working with people who think as we do, we had better be working alone. What does that mean? If you have friends who don't think like you, who are not going the same direction with you, if you have colleagues and all of that, it's better you work alone than to work with people, especially people you call friends, who are not going into the same direction with you, especially people that you are dating. That's why it's very dangerous to, like on a serious note, I've seen that happen with many of my mentees and who have attended some of our 2 weeks programs, 3 months programs, and so on, where they come for especially programs that are focused on personal productivity and mindset re-engineering and character building and all of that. And let's say maybe a fiance comes and attend, and you start hearing complaints like, I think that that guy is slow in thinking, right? Or you hear a guy telling me how he feels that the girlfriend is below average in the way they see things now. It has happened like several times. Well, that's why we have seen programs whereby a wife attends a program and then goes and sends the husband to come and attend, right? Why? Because there's already an immediate difference in how they view things, an immediate difference in how they react things, an immediate difference in how they are productive, an immediate difference in how they're exposed to the things of life, career, and business. So unless we are working with people who think as we do, it's better you work alone. One stream of thought, even though it may not be very powerful, will do more for us than many powerful streams that are not various with each other. Yes, one single thought, just one single thought, commands a lot of power than diverse thoughts in different directions. That's the concept. So this means that unless we are sure that we are working with people who harmonize, we would better work alone. If there's no harmonization with their close circle, there's no there's no clarity in what you guys are chasing. Even though you can be chasing different dreams, like in this PPA community, we all have different dreams. But the point is the way we sound in the group, the way people talk. Like in that group, you don't hear people like, there are some words I have banned in the group at the beginning, and you see those words no longer appear, right? It's just focus on positivity, just focus on growth oriented, focus on inspiration, focus on challenging ourselves, challenging each other, focusing on becoming better day in and day out, focusing on learning new things, superior knowledge, superior understanding, superior guidance. That's where we are focusing on. And results are happening in our lives, right? So, and of course, we cannot retire from business. We cannot leave business simply because people do not agree with us. But what we can do is to keep our thoughts to ourselves or guard our emotions. Yes, don't let people intoxicate your thought with their bad thoughts. That's what I'm saying here. Don't let negative emotions control your strong positive emotions. Don't let your somebody's confusion confuse your clarity of thoughts. It's going to be very dangerous for you. You need to intentionally guard that, right? Great men are the ones who get a vision and then get to work to make it come through. Never looking at one side, but with one-pointedness and calm determination. Stick to the thing until it is accomplished. We said this yesterday, and I want to repeat it again. Great men and women are the ones who get a vision, a very, very clear vision, and then go to work to make that vision come true. They are never looking on the left and on the right, up and down, and confused here and there. No, they have one pointedness and they have one calm determination into one direction, and they stick to that vision until it is accomplished. They stick to that vision until it is accomplished. Right? And one thing about this also is that we can never stand still in our thought. No, your thoughts are always growing. You can never stand still. It's either you're growing your mindset or is going back, is regressing, right? We can never stand still in our thoughts. Our thoughts are always growing. Either we will be growing or else we will be going back. As we can attract to ourselves only what we first have a mental likeness of. Yes, we can only attract to ourselves only what we first have a mental likeness of. It follows that if we wish to attract larger things, we must provide larger thoughts. If you desire to attract larger things in your life, start by attracting larger thoughts. If you want little things, attract little thoughts, practice little thoughts. And as I said, for this to happen, not just for you to sit and assume. No, you need to go through a creative process. In one of the episodes of this program, we need to go through a creative process. And part of the creative process that you sit down with a pen and a blank sheet, and you are designing what you want to see. You are describing your picture. You are writing down, this is what I want to see in my life in 10 years from now. And you are putting in numbers. In 10 years from now, I want to see this and this happen. In 10 years from now, I want to build a 3, 5, 4 living apartment. I'm going to have this. I'm going to do this. In 10 years from now, I'm going to have a story building for the corporate headquarters of my company. In 10 years, you are writing those things because you have to paint the picture and give it to your mind. Because we can only attract to ourselves only what we first have a mental likeness of it. And we can only attract large things if we provide large thoughts. And I've said this here several times. Anything that you build things in 3 dimensions. Never forget this. You build things in 3 dimensions. You can build it mentally first, then you build it spiritually first, and these two are linked together, right? You build it mentally first, and then you can pray about it. That's you building spiritually, and then you get to work in the physical manifestation and start building it. The first 2 are critical. If there's no way that you can leave the first 2 and you just start building. You get a point? People have different ways of doing things spiritually. But like for example, for Christians, I can only talk about what I know. For Christians, for example, what do they do? Maybe a typical Christian can, after you have had a mental picture, you can pray about it. You can say, okay, you know what, I'm going to fast for 3 days about this, right? That's you building it spiritually. You fast for 3 days about something. You have prayer points just around that thing. The second action you can take is you can go to your pastor and submit the plan to him, to him or her, and the pastor can decide to pray for you too. You can decide and tell your prayer group, oh, I'm working on this project and I need your prayers. You can, for Pentecostals who practice a lot of first fruit or prophetic seed and all of that, you can go sow a prophetic seed or first fruit and all of that on behalf of the project and blah, blah, blah. You can do a Thanksgiving about it to thank God for the project in faith that, okay, I want to thank God for this new idea and for the success of the idea, even though you have not even done building it. That's faith. That's a different realm of commanding what you want to see happen. That's you building. So what are the actions you take? When you come in the physical, you can say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do recruitment of staff. I'm going to design a business plan. I'm going to design a strategic document. I'm going to create partnerships. I'm going to do this, do that, do that. That is you building now in the physical, taking action that leads to you for you to build. But you have to go through the creative process, the spiritual process, and the physical process. When he who stops enlarging his thoughts stops growing. He who stops enlarging his or her thoughts actually stops growing. And there are many reasons why a man stops thinking large things. There are many reasons why a man, a woman can stop thinking large things. One of them is lack of imagination. Yes. Imagination is you just send your mind to the wild. Like you just imagine yourself. Let's say, for example, Stephanie, who is in real estate, can just sit and imagine that maybe by 2030, Cameroon government wants to build a new presidency and they give her the contract to build. Yes, just imagine that direction. Oh, my company is responsible for building the new presidency of Cameroon, right? She's just imagining the options. Imagine, okay, the budget is 50 billion francs. I'm going to recruit 1,000 workers. I'm going to build the most finest presidency in Africa. You are just imagining in the wild and all of that, right? Like, for example, one of my imaginations I have in my mind is, I'm hoping that something is going to happen, where in a day, I'm going to speak in 3 countries in a day. So I'm going to have a private jet that I'm going to speak somewhere in the morning. I jet from that country to the next country. I speak there in the afternoon, then I jet to another country in the evening and I speak. And it's very possible, right? And I used to imagine I can't imagine on a day that in 1 week I'll speak in 2 countries. But now that happens that sometimes in 3 days I'm speaking in 2 countries, right? Just imagine imagination. What happens? They push you into the wild, and sometimes in the process of imagining, you can see possibilities. And when you see possibilities, you cannot go through creative thinking. You cannot get a pen and a paper, and you cannot. But you know what? It's actually possible. So how can I really make this happen practically? Then you cannot design an execution plan on how you can make that happen. And so these plans can be 3 months, 1 year, 10 years plan. There are many of the things that is happening right now. Meanwhile, it's a whole 10 years plan that I've been working on. But you just need to imagine. So when you lack imagination, it's one of the signs that you will not have large thoughts, because large thoughts are very uncomfortable. Large thought, because in this way you're thinking, you're not thinking about, like, let's say this is my imagination. I'm not bothered about how am I going to get money to buy the private jet, how am I going to pay the captain, the flight, my pilot, all of that. I don't care. That's not my job, right? I think my job is to imagine the possibilities and start taking actions towards that. When that time is going to come, the resources will be released to finance that particular project. So when you're doing imaginations, there are no limitations. That's one characteristic of imagination. There are no limitations in your mind. There's no limitation of money. There's no limitation. Your job is to imagine the possibilities and give your mind that opportunity to think large thoughts. So another reason why many people don't know how to think large thoughts is because those people cannot conceive anything conceive anything tangible to follow than that which has already happened. In other words, they only focus on old stuff. They only focus on old experiences, right? They don't push themselves to think of what can happen tomorrow as far as possibilities are concerned, right? So, and they have thoughts like, this is as far as anyone can go in my business. Yes, people who have limitations in their thoughts, they say things like this. This is as far as anyone can go in my business. Like in Cameroon, you could decide and look at, okay, as far as this industry is concerned, the highest successful person is as far as they have gone. So it means that I can never go beyond that level. That is very bad thinking. Don't take somebody's yesterday and define your tomorrow. I don't do that nonsense. Everybody has their path. Everybody has their journey. Whatever you achieved in your days, that's your problem. Like when I started, many people told me that you cannot build a career in Cameroon as a trainer and consultant and feed from it. Many people told me that it's not possible. Well, that was their reality. That was their perception. That was as per their days. That was them indirectly telling me that this is as far as anyone can go in this business. Anybody who is a speaker in this country right now, they have a job. They're either a government worker somewhere, they're either a teacher somewhere, or they either run a business somewhere. You cannot run a company that focuses just on talking and solving problems. That was what somebody told me. It's not possible. That was indirectly telling me this is as far as anyone in that business can go. And that's not a good thinking. That's not good thoughts. So you need to have, if you have that kind of thought whereby you have looked at somebody's career growth and you're using it to measure your own career growth, stop using somebody's yesterday to define that. Somebody was telling me that, and I said, look, in their days, they did not have Facebook and LinkedIn. In my days, I have advanced technology. Like some people say that Jesus Christ did not have a car in the Bible. Yes, in those centuries, there was no car. So pastors have cars now. Technology has evolved. Oh, Jesus was not wearing suit in those days. Were there suits in those days? There is suit now, right? So you cannot use yesterday's experiences and yesterday's growth and begin to define your today and your tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. That's why I believe I focus on future possibilities. And you cannot use somebody's previous experiences and define your limitations. You're going to live below potential, and you'll regret someday. Live in the wild, guys. Go further, go big. Try and fail. And as I always say, if I fail at anything, I want to know that I gave in my best. I want to know that I had sleepless night. I want to know that I brought in my A game. I want to know that I worked 18 hours every day. When I get at a good old age, I want to sit back and look to Joybert. You didn't have the kind of life you had, but you failed on your own terms. You did not let laziness define you. You did not let sleep define you. You did not let what people think about this country, what people think about you define you. You failed on your own terms. That's what I always tell myself. I want to fail knowing that I have sleepless nights. I want to fail knowing that I put in my utmost best every day from Monday to Sunday. I want to fail knowing that I brought in my A game. I want to fail knowing that I studied every book studyable. I created things creative. I did everything massively possible from my part before I failed. Then I'm going to fail a very fulfilled man. You get a point? So don't stop using, even me here, don't use, you can, my experiences and the things I've been able to achieve should only amplify and give you proof that your future has better projections than even mine. You see, another thought that lazy people think is that right here is signs, are signs of his own death warrant, right? Like, for example, somebody like, life is so difficult, I'm just gonna die, I'm just gonna give up. Those are kind of people that they never enlarge their thoughts, right? Or some people say that I am too old to do big things. I am too old to do big things. You are 45, I'm too old to do big things. I am 50, I'm too old to do big things. Those are signs of somebody with lower enlarged thoughts. They don't have large thoughts. Or you say, oh, my family is poor, I cannot do big things. Oh, like I would have given myself all the excuses. Oh, I'm born out of wedlock, I cannot do big things. I don't know my dad, I cannot do big things. I came from a family, I cannot do big things. Oh, I cannot go to university, I cannot do big things, and all of that. And all of these things are valid, guys. As I always say, many of these excuses, when you say to yourself, they sound very sweet. Until you come to somebody who naturally that does nonsense, you now start thinking, hey, like I was talking to one of somebody the other time, he or she's not a mentee, he's just a friend. And there was something that I wanted him to read. And I was like, and he said like I had malaria. Sorry, I didn't do that. So I was like, was malaria affecting your eyes and your brain? You know, people have, you can use sickness and give very sweet excuses. What sound very sweet? One of the highest things I do when I'm sick is to read and study and write. As simple as that. There's nothing like I would just lie down, except that I'm totally like, my body cannot move. I cannot just lie down. That the only job I'm doing at that time is that I'm sick. But of course, my body will like that kind of excuse. That's normal. My body's gonna like that. And my body's gonna validate that excuse very well. But you're gonna choose. You have to choose whatever you're looking at. So people are gonna say that I'm too old, so I cannot do big things. Or some people are gonna say that competition is too great. Like there are some people here that you are very uncomfortable in the group. The days that we're doing personal introduction, many of you inbox me and said that no, you want to leave the group because everybody seems to have achieved stuff and all of that. That is the highest set of mediocrity and negative thinking that you can ever think about. People that have lower thinking capabilities use sentences like that. Competition is too great. Oh, people are better than me. And so what? Why isn't people's achievements to measure your own achievements? Why are you trying to undervalue yourself? Do you know the things you can do if you set out there in the wild? You're adventurous, you're spirit-filled, and you try new things. You can even do 10 times better than what they have done. There's that possibility. Don't whatever they wrote in that group, they were writing what they have already achieved. That is their yesterday's experience. And you want to use that define your today and your tomorrow. How is that kind of thinking even possible in 2021? It's like some people are in 2021 and they have brains and operating system in their head from 1990. So you need to change from that kind of perspective. You need to beat that kind of game. It's not for you guys. It's not you. Right? So you cannot just give a flimsy excuse that competition is too much, so I cannot go continue with the business. Beat the competition, kick them out of the market. Rise up, you can do that. So as there is no stopping in that power which is infinite, as there's no stopping, nothing can stop the infinite power, nothing can stop God's infinite power, nothing can stop God's ecosystem. As the limitless is without bounds, as the limitless is without bounds, so should we keep on trying to see more, achieve more, and push for greater possibilities in life. Let me say that again. As there is no stopping to that power which is infinite, as there is no stopping to that power that created the heavens and the earth, as there is no stopping, as there's no limitation in God's own ecosystem, as the limitless is without bounds. There's nothing that can, there's no boundary that can stop the limitless power. So should you and I keep on trying till you die, till you grow old. Keep on trying. You and I should keep on trying. Number one, to see more possibilities. Number two, to imagine more possibilities. And number three, to put in the hard work to experience greater possibilities in life. That is our option. As long as this power exists, that is our business. That is what you and I should be doing. So we should definitely work every day for the expansion of our thoughts. If we have 50 customers a day, we should endeavor to believe that we can have 60 tomorrow. Right? When we have 60 customers tomorrow, we should mentally believe that we can have 70 customers on Friday. If we have 70 customers on Friday, we should mentally believe that next month we're going to have 140 customers. That is what Holmes is charging us to believe in greater possibilities. Don't remain the same. Don't see somebody's profile and feel threatened. No, see somebody's profile. Oh, this is what this guy was able to do. Because my profiles are always late. If I share my profile today, they're based on the things I achieved as at this morning. The things I will achieve this evening are not even there. That's already, profiles are already somebody's history. So you look at somebody's history and then you define your greater possibilities of tomorrow. That's so wrong. That's so disgraceful to thyself and to the God that created you. Good. So always look at that in that particular perspective. So the man without big thought, or the man with the big thought, is always the man who does big things in life. The man with the big thought is always the man or the woman who does big things in life. Get hold of the biggest things that you can think of. Get hold of it. Write it down. You have a business, set goals. Okay, right now my business is making profit of 200,000 francs. That's good. My goal is that by December 31st this year, this business must be making 500,000 francs or 1 million francs in profit. Something happened this year. In January, I selected some 5 guys. Well, did I share this yesterday? I don't know why I shared this, but I was talking to somebody, I was sharing this. I selected 5 guys. And these 5 guys, our goal was that by June, all their businesses should be making at least 1 million francs in profit. That was the goal. That was the goal. And by June, we only achieved only 3 to reach that level of making 1 million francs in profit. Till today, they are making minimum or 1 million francs in profit and above. 2 as at now are fluctuating between 700,000 francs and 900,000 francs or so monthly profit. They're going to get to 1 million monthly profit. And the first thing I had to conquer for them, I shared this when I was having a private session with the mentees. If you run your business, and you are not seeing that, and that's why I get worried about entrepreneurs who run businesses and then they're looking for a job at the same time. Like one guy from Bamenda yesterday, he's a PhD student in agriculture. He has a farm, but he's depressed because he's not able to get a job. So I'm like, you are confused between, I don't even understand how to describe your problem. And that's why you're depressed. PhD in agriculture, you have a farm of your own, and you're looking for a job, and you feel that you're broke. There's something is wrong somewhere with your mind, with your belief system. That's why you cannot even get a job. That's why your farm can even feed you back. Meanwhile, you are a PhD student. It means that PhD means that you're commanding a same level of expertise around something. You should produce results. You see, so there should be that thinking. The man with the big thought is always the man who does big things in life. So these guys, one thing I had to conquer was to make them believe that they can make profit of 1 million francs every month in this country. You know, there are people that run businesses that they just believe in, 300,000 profit every month, 250, 100, 200,000 francs, and they are so happy that, oh, business is doing very well. They have never believed that their business can make 1 million francs and above, 10 million francs and so. Now, I was talking to one of my clients, they share whatever they're doing. When I looked at the business, the idea, the number of staff and whatever they're doing, and I told her, Pat, do you know that this your company could be making at least 15 million francs in profits every month? I was like, hey, are you serious? I thought that this was the highest that we can do. No, who told you that? Your mediocre thinking convinced you that, and that's not the fact. You are not objective in that thinking. I say, this business can make you 15 francs monthly profit minimum if we structure it right. You see, get hold of the biggest thing that you can think of. Get hold of it, write it down. Get hold of the biggest things that you can think of. Claim it for your own. Claim it for your own. Mentally see it and hold it as a thing already done. Have a very clear picture in your mind, and you will prove to yourself that life is without bounds. You're going to prove to yourself that life is without bounds. I think I shared this somewhere. I was sharing, as a last year, all the dreams I wrote down, like all the dreams I wrote down that I want to achieve in my career as a speaker, all were achieved. All. Like, I remember in Kumu those days, I said, I want to travel to countries to speak. I want international agencies and diplomatic institutions to hire me to train. I want to speak in the US. I want to speak in Europe and all of that. All of those dreams, like, although the one in Europe was not attained the way I expected. In 2020, I had 15 invitations in 15 different countries in Europe. 4 were canceled because of COVID-19, and the rest were transferred virtually. Of course, I spoke and I was paid in euros, so I traveled in my mind and came back. So I had 15 invitations to take to different embassies, and all visas were guaranteed. So I'm not struggling to travel to all of these countries. So all of this that I wrote down, they were all achieved. Everything I'm embarking on right now, they are all dreams. They're all new dreams I have written down. Because I was also short-sighted at that time. Everything I wrote in 2012, it was based on what I could see in Banso at that time. 2012, I had never been to Douala. I've never seen many cars in my life, right? I've never seen big story buildings. So anything I wrote at that time was based on my current exposure at that time. And that's why the first time I went to a better country, when I came back, the vision about COSDEV Group and the vision about my career also enlarged it. And I was charged to do what? To think bigger and claim bigger things. You see, so these things are very critical. Good, to conclude, no matter how large the picture that you hold in your mind, make it larger. And that's the charge. What am I trying to say, guys? Like I was telling you guys, all the dreams last year, I have to multiply them by 2 as of this year, as of my New Year resolutions or New Year decision-making period. I have to stretch my dreams higher, stretch them further, increase the number of countries I want to speak in yearly, increase the number of events I want to speak in. Like this year, I challenged myself that this year I want to get like a few years back, I used to do, okay, I just want to consult with a company that has like small businesses. This year, I set a goal that I want to start consulting with companies that have a market cap of at least 1 billion francs CFA. I want to consult with a company that have at least a market cap, like capital, right? The worth of that company, the company valuation is at least 1 billion francs and above. This year, I've had 3 of those companies. I've consulted with 3 companies that are worth 1 billion francs and above. The last one was the one a few days back where they are making profit of 500 million francs a month already. So if a company is making 500 million francs a month, so you can anticipate their valuation cannot be less than 5 billion francs and above as a company. And that's the power of writing things down. But a few years back, I used to dream of small businesses, small quarter businesses and national businesses and all of that. I also do that. I want to start consulting with continental businesses, right? And when you write down and you keep hold of it, that's how they come to you. That's what the universe releases to you. I'm currently in discussions with 3 intercontinental businesses. Like the last business I just secured, they have branches in Equatorial Guinea, Sierra Leone, Nigeria. And when I finish the Cameroon office, I'm supposed to go to all of these countries and work with the team and set systems and structures and all of that as far as corporate consulting is concerned, right? But those things, if I didn't break out my mind, I had to leave from thinking of consulting with small businesses and stretch my mind. Okay, Joybert, I think you have reached the level and skill set where you can consult a company worth 1 billion francs and above. And I had to accept that I can do that. And then I write it down. I create the mental picture. I write it down practically. So no matter how large your dreams have been, no matter how large the pictures have been, you have been holding in your mind, make it larger. The reason why so many people come to the point where they stop is that they come to a point where they stop growing in their mind. Hear that again. The reason why so many young people, so many Africans, so many Cameroonians, so many people in your village come to the point where they stop is they come to a point where they stop growing in their own minds. They come to a point where they can see no more, they can imagine no more, thinking that because they have really done a big thing, they should stop there, right? So because you have done little big things, you want to stop, you want to feel comfortable. No, you should not stop there, right? So we must watch our thoughts for signs of inactivity. Be careful of inactivity. Nothing in the universe ever stops. Nothing in the universe ever stops. Everything in the universe is evolving. Trees are growing, grasses are growing, stones are growing bigger. The wind is moving. Nothing stops. Something is growing. Houses are getting old. Technologies are getting outdated. People are growing old and dying. Nothing stops. Nothing is ever just there in the universe. So you cannot be, your mind cannot be there. Your mind will be outdated. That's why if you don't evolve your mind, that's why there are many people that when they talk to you, they're like, this one, are you using the mindset of 1980 to talk in 2021? Something is wrong somewhere. You have to upgrade. You got to upgrade. And when some people talk, they're like, you know what? I think that I'm not yet part of 2021. Like I told one young guy the other day, I said, do you know that you have not used your 2021? The guy was laughing. You have not used your 2021 because the way you sound, you are still in 2020 and 2019 or 2018. You need to come 2021 and start using it because there are some things you should know if you're in 2021. So something is wrong somewhere. And of course, this same guy I told that PPA community said that 10,000 francs is expensive. So he's still behind news, and you cannot blame him for that. Okay, good. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to conclude the book. I like what we have covered so far. Okay, the key points left as we're going to conclude the coaching tomorrow morning. And of course, we must have achieved a lot as far as this is concerned. All right, people, let's chit chat for what, 20 minutes, and we're good to go.